Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture for January 28th of 2025 is titled Comet G3 Atlas over Uruguay. So what do we see here? Well, here we see up in the sky, in addition to a number of stars, comet known as G3 Atlas. And that has been a prominent comet for those in the southern hemisphere, visible just after sunset. And here shown in much more detail in a image that you can take with a camera. Now a camera will always give you a better image, and that is because the camera can expose for a longer period of time, picking up details that are not visible to the comet to the naked eye. So if you're just looking at the comet, you would not see quite this expanse of tail. You would be able to see the nucleus and some of the brighter tail, but the very faint portions going up there would be completely invisible without a camera. So cameras can expose for longer periods of time, bringing out more detail. Now the comet itself forms a large dust tail here. Now a dust tail is formed from heavier pieces of material from the comet. And those are things that are larger than individual atoms or molecules. So things that are small, tiny grains of dusty material are then expelled outward from the comet from the heat of the sun and then pushed back by the solar wind. So the properties we see of the comet are actually a combination of the composition of the comet as well as the work of the sun that makes them visible for us. So without the sun, the comet would just be a ball of ice floating through space and would not look prominent at all. It's only when it comes close to the sun that it gets heated up enough to give us the view that we see when we see a comet in the sky here on Earth. And that is that material being vaporized off the surface of the comet, forming a halo around it, and then the material in that halo being pushed back by the solar wind. Now this is a dust tail, which means it's slightly heavier particles. So you can see that it's kind of curved off to the right hand side. It doesn't go quite straight back from the comet. That's because those slightly larger particles will lag behind the comet in its orbit. So in the sky, the comet is moving towards the left here, and we can see that the tail is lagging behind to the right. So the tail of the comet can tell us two things. It can tell us something about the motion of the comet when we see the dust tail like this, because the dust tail lags behind slightly in the orbit. And it also tells us the position of the sun, because the tail will always be opposite of the sun. And therefore the comet the head of the comet points down to the sun there below the horizon. Now the comet is quickly fading as it heads back out into the outer solar system. And in addition, it appears that the nucleus has been breaking apart. So it will fade quickly as it heads back outward, giving it a chance to see only in the near future for those in the southern hemisphere. So that was our picture of the day for January 28th of 2025. It was titled Comet G3 Atlas over Uruguay. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be star circles. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.